the only person I know that actually talks more than I do. I think my time's up, isn't it? So I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. It's been wonderful, meeting you all. Hold on 2 seconds. I totally have to do a selfie. Come here, Jeff. Come up here. Come up here. You guys. There you go. So you guys, you go to Verde Valley School. I went to Verde Valley School. It's a pretty cool place, isn't it? I thought I didn't need a mic, but maybe I should grab one. That was pretty good. Can we reach over here? This is really a trip for me because it's been how many 45 years since we went to school here. 44. Russ points out that it was 44 years. I had a chance to answer a few questions last night, and one of the ones that really sticks with me are Russ and Ginny Fox. It's amazing how things work out in your life sometimes. My father was a pretty famous actor. His name was Jack Lemmon, and his best friend was Walter Matthau, and the two of them together did some really wonderful films. I believe about 10 of them. And one of the other wonderful things that they did was send. Excuse me, also, if I'm sort of like breathing, I've got a terrible cold, so that's why I'm sounding like a walrus right now. One of the things they did was send their two kids to this place, Verde Valley School, 44 years ago, and it's interesting how things work out. And coming back here, I think I almost got into 17 accidents on the way here this morning, just gaping at these wonderful sights that you guys are now living in, that I lived in those many years ago. And coming down the road here and looking over and seeing Cathedral, where I almost bit the dust, along with Jeff and Ron Erickson and Evie Dunham. Remember Evie Dunham? God bless her soul. She was a San Francisco hippie. Do you guys even know what the word hippie means anymore? It was a whole different time. But the amazing thing is, and I put on my glasses for 2 seconds because I'm a blind old fart, so I could take a look out at you guys, and I'm just seeing the same faces. I was that face 44 years ago, looking up at this stage and listening to people talk and talk about what a really special place this is. And the one thing I can give you, if I can give you any kind of piece of advice, and then let's have some fun and tell some stories, is just hold on to every single moment, because this is the most magical time of your life. These years here and the years that you'll have in your college experience and your adolescence and youth, and to be able to spend them in a place like this, where it's such a tightly knit community, and you guys know each other's souls. There's only how many are there here? 120? That's how many there were when I came here. Yeah. You guys know each other's souls. I was such an obnoxious kid when I came to this school. Oh boy, I was big. It was interesting because I was the son of a very famous actor. And one of the byproducts of being the son, unfortunate byproducts of being the son of a very famous actor, is that throughout your entire adolescence, you're identified as an object, not as a person. I was never Chris Lemmon. I was always Jack Lemmon's son. So I had this incessant desire to be the center of attention, so people would pay attention to Chris Lemmon. So I came on like a barrel of monkeys to everybody around me. And of course, in a tightly knit community like this, where everybody's trying to find their way in life, everybody was going, "Would you shut the hell up, please? Get out of here." But over the course of a few years, and a little bit of say that 3 times fast, ostracization, I ended up creating the kind of bonds and the kind of friendships that last a lifetime. And that's exactly what Mr. Perkins just said up here at the podium. And the memories, oh man, the memories. It was the same as it is now, but boy was it different. There was a game we used to play on horseback called Pato. Do you guys know what Pato is? Do you? There were 4 horses per team. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jeff, come up here. Why am I doing this by myself? Come sit down over here. They don't want to listen to one old fart talk when they can listen to 2 old farts talk. There were 4 horses per team, and there was this ball that Mr. Perkins, did they call you Jeff or Mr. Perkins? They call you Jeff? You let them do that. He always used to make me call him Mr. Perkins. There was a leather ball with leather hoops on it, and 4 horses on one team, 4 horses on the other, in a big 100-foot long or 100-yard long field with 2 poles and an upright hoop. And the game would start by 2 people galloping towards each other, leaning down off the side of the horse and picking the ball up off the ground. And whoever got to the ball first got possession of the ball. Now, I ask you a question. What's wrong with that picture? You have 2 people riding towards each other at a full gallop, leaning so that their heads will collide, which fortunately never happened. Or did it? I don't know, because every once in a while I get a little dizzy. You know? But we used to do stuff like that. And there was another story we were trying to remember. We had a wonderful guy named Yule Gibbons. He was the creator of Outward Bound's sort of nutrition program or something, wasn't he?
Wrote about stocking the wild asparagus.
How's that for a title? Yule came and did this whole thing where we'd solo, and we'd actually go by ourselves off into Turkey Valley. I still remember the name. Turkey Valley, and do the thing. And during my solo, I felt compelled to climb Napoleon Mountain. And so, by myself, I climbed the back of Napoleon Mountain. And as I was doing it, one of those cricket things, you know those little cricket things that they have here? Those aren't tarantula wasps, are they? Was it tarantula? Well, either way, it was a nasty looking guy. And he did a little by my face, and it was one of those things, you know, where I thought, uh-oh, here we go, off the back of Napoleon. So this is the kind of nutty stuff that we used to do. I don't think you guys do that anymore, do you? I think you're a smarter generation. But my whole point is this, and then I think you guys want to ask me some questions. This is the most special time of your life, and these are the people who will become your friends for life. Relish it, enjoy every moment, enjoy each other, and just have a blast, because trust me, you're in a very magical place at a very magical time. Whatever you want to do. Well, let's see what they have to ask. Yes, sir.
What's the story behind the cave with the wooden door up on Monkey Face?
What's the story behind the cave with the wooden door up on Monkey Face?
Did you ever go there?
I don't think I ever went there, but it sounds like something I should have done. Where is it? Is it like up on Monkey Face or next to the stables? I think that was actually planned to become the 4th door. That was going to be South Door. Yeah, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. Anybody else? Yes, dear.
What was the recent date for you to come to VVS? Or like, how did you find out about this place?
It was actually, my father and Walter Matthau were very dear friends. They made a lot of movies together. And David and I, his son, were about the same age. And they looked around for different schools, and I don't remember if it was exactly anybody in particular, but there was somebody who mentioned Verde Valley to them. And at that time, Verde Valley had been around about how long?
Well, it started in 48.
48. So this would have been 54, 64, 68, right around 68, 69, something like that. So it was really, you know, starting to flourish and get a wonderful reputation, which it's held on to for all of these years. And Pop and Walter came out and took a look at it and said, you know, my father said, yeah, hey, what do you think? I said, it's a nice place. Walter looked and says, I don't know, Lemmon, but will you shut up and stop with the stuttering? And that's the next thing we knew, here we were. Yes, sir.
What about normal weekend like for you guys? What's normal weekend activities?
Back in the 60s, there were no normal weekends. Oh, you know, I never got to tell the story about Russ, which is very important, and I told it last night, and I think you guys can relate to it. My father taught me to play piano at a very early age. I was the product of a divorced family, which is tough. I don't know if any of you are from divorced families. They don't happen as often these days, which is a good thing. But in an attempt to kind of, you know, be with me, get together with me, at a very early age, he started to teach me how to play the piano. And I loved it instantly. And because of my father, I began to play. But as can happen in the teenage years, you start something and then, yeah, it just sort of wanders away. And while I was here at Verde Valley, again, I was trying to wrestle with that whole self-identity question and who I was and where I was going and all that stuff that you really shouldn't think about right now. You don't even need to think about it till college. And even then in the sophomore year. I got 3 kids in college at the same time right now, so I know what I'm talking about. But Russ, I think, got a little glimmer that there might be something there. And one night, it was one of those crazy, wacky nights that don't happen that often here, but when they do, they're really spectacular. It really is a magical place, you know, this place. And I'm sure it still is, too. But anyway, there was a big thunderstorm, kind of that dry, not pouring rain, but like electric thundery thing going on, and it was all kind of, you know, tuggly and spooky and mystical. And Russ said, I want you to come down to the music studio. Is it still in the same place?
No.
Oh, it's up here now. Well, it was the one that's way down there off down the path.
Down the path from North Hall is that little building that's a classroom or lab nowadays.
It's a classroom now, okay? That place, you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's a really cool place. It's got a big picture window, you see cathedral, if I remember correctly, and then the lightning is crashing. And there's a great piece of music written by a wonderful Russian composer named Sergei Prokofiev. He wrote Peter and the Wolf. Have any of you ever heard of Peter and the Wolf? Yeah, good. That's like, what, like 4 people? I want you guys to Google, you know, you guys can Google here, you have Wi-Fi, don't you? I'm just kidding. I want you to Google Sergei Prokofiev and listen to the 5th Symphony, okay? It's spelled with F's, not V. The first movement of the 5th Symphony, Russ put it on and said, I want you to listen to this because I think it's something you'll relate to. And I sat there mesmerized. I listened to this incredible piece of music. The whole symphony is great. And I do want you guys to listen to that. That's your homework. And I'm going to come back for a report tomorrow. No. And it so completely turned me on that I literally sprinted out the door and around the back to the practice rooms, sat down at the old upright piano, and that's where I stayed for the rest of my time here at the school, and that's where I've stayed for the rest of my life. And that, my friends, is the mark of a great teacher. When they can do something like that for a kid, that's a great teacher. I wouldn't be sitting at this thing right here if it wasn't for Russ Fox. So those are the kind of things that happen in great schools. I guess I'm supposed to play piano, right? What am I going to play for you guys? Prokofiev is not easy. Prokofiev is a tough old guy. No, it's, Oh, you want me to play classical music? No, I'm not going to play classical music. I got it. No.
Do the Gershwin footage.
That? The end of Rhapsody in Blue? Let's see. Let me start with something easy. I'll sing you the blues. The blues are easy to do. Any musicians here? Gotta be some musicians. You guys play the blues?
Yeah.
Blues are easy. Jeff Perkins too. That's all. Is this something I did? That's what happens every time I sing. People run away. Who's got more questions for me? Yes, dear.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Did I just call you dear? Did I ever see a ghost?
Yeah.
I saw lots of them. Yeah. But you never know. I mean, you never know whether it was the real deal or you know, kind of your youth and that whole wonderful, like I've been saying, that magical time. You saw a few, didn't you? There was one night, weird stuff would happen, you know. It was one night where the whole campus was convinced there was a haunting going on. And there were people running around going, oh, I saw this, and oh, I saw that. And one guy kept saying, I'm seeing this light floating down from the chapel, down the path, past the mail station. Is the mail station still in the same place? You guys have just changed everything, haven't you? Well, it used to be up there past... Okay, well, the bike shop, which used to be the mail station. I saw this light, I saw this light, I saw this light. And, you know, and I'm going, okay, yeah, right, you know, could you shut up about the light already? And sure enough, I'm telling you, I went up there to investigate, and I'm convinced that I saw sort of this weird little kind of lit object, you know, in the bushes sort of floating by, and it was the 60s after all, but so yeah, I think maybe, you know, we saw some stuff. I'm not a huge believer in all that stuff, but at the same time, I am a big believer in that we don't really know, you know, much about what's going on out there. And who knows what ghosts really are? I mean, are they spirits of dead people? I don't know. I kind of believe that after we go, maybe we keep on going on our journey, and I don't know if we want to stick around, you know, just watching what other people are doing, you know, and then going, you know, haunting them every once in a while. But you know, my wife's a big believer. But am I rambling? Lemons do that sometimes. Does that answer your question, dear? Who else? Yes, dear.
Your dads that you just is your favorite for any reason or another?
Do you guys know who my dad is? Yeah? Have you seen any of his movies? This is so, that is so wonderful for me to hear, because so often these days, one of the things, I wrote a book a little while back that became this show that a bunch of your friends came and saw last night. One of the things that happens that's really unfortunate is, you know, this whole being Jack Lemmon's kid thing, you're Jack Lemmon's son, no, I'm Chris Lemmon. You know, it was tough for me to hear it when I was younger, but as I grew older, I started hearing it less and less, and wanting to hear it more and more. And that's, boy, isn't that life. And so at your young age, be wary of those things like that. I don't mean to sound like an old stentorian fart, but be wary of things like that, because you know, they do happen. And people are forgetting who Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau and Gregory Peck and Jimmy Cagney and a lot of the people I was talking about in the show last night are and were. You know, but then I turn to them and say, have you ever seen the movie Grumpy Old Men? They go, oh yeah, it's my very favorite. I said, well, that's Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Oh, them! Oh, that's who you mean. Is there a movie of my father's that's my very favorite? You guys would love this movie. It's called The Great Race. Does anybody know it? You've got to watch that movie. Yeah, and all the old farts raise their hands. Okay, that's your second homework assignment. You have 2 homework assignments. Go listen to Prokofiev's 5th Symphony and go watch The Great Race. You'll love them both, I promise you. But it's a wonderful kind of wacky comedy that was directed by a wonderful director named Blake Edwards. And it starred my father, Tony Curtis and Natalie Wood. And it was a story about from the kind of the old days of a race around the world in cars and automobiles, but done only as Blake Edwards can do them. You ever heard of the Pink Panther? That was Blake Edwards. So it's that kind of humor. But I think it may be one of his greatest films. But there was another film that I think is very important from my father. My father never understood why, especially in his era, not so much now, but much more so in his era, comedy and drama had to be 2 separate things. And actors had to be one or the other. What the term would be pigeonholed. Basically, they had to be a comedic actor or they had to be a dramatic actor, because the studios could market them and sell their brand much more easily when they did that. And my father was one of the first actors, really, to say, I don't think that's art. That's not really great art. And he got that from a wonderful French actor-director in mind named Jean-Louis Barrault. Third homework assignment is, this one might be a little bit tough, is to watch the great French film L'Enfant de Paradis, Children of Paradise, with Jean-Louis Barrault. That's where my father got most of his stuff, and where he also got a lot of his belief in what acting and what art in the world of that facet of entertainment is. And that is that you should be able to seamlessly weave drama and comedy together in order to achieve an even higher level of communication to your audience. And the first movie where he was able to actually do that was a movie called The Apartment. Your 5th homework assignment is to watch Billy Wilder's The Apartment. You might want to put that one first on the list. That's where he did it. He did it very successfully. I believe he was nominated for an Academy Award for that performance. It became, he was able to supersede the label of comedic actor solely because of that film. And where he went afterwards, in the next film after that, was a brilliant film called The Days of Wine and Roses, where he showed his dramatic chops. And that's when he became Jack Lemmon, one of the most famous and most beloved actors in the world. So that was really boring. No, I'm just kidding. Is Is that a deer, or I don't have my glasses on. Is that a deer?
That's a deer.
Yes, deer.
Could you play Riders on the Storm by the Doors?
No. Riders on the storm. Only if Jeff sings it. Only if Jeff sings it.
Riders on the storm. In this house we're born. Into this world we're born. A rat without a home. A dog without a bone.
It's a really long part rendition of it.
Into this house we're born. Where do we go from here? I don't have a clue. But I know that I love you.
Any more requests? What the hell? That was kind of fun. Yes, sir, ma'am. I should probably put my glasses on.
Do you still have your senior ring? And if you do, if you had the firework back then, what did you do to earn it?
Well, that's an interesting story. I don't know whether I should tell that story or not. Should I or shouldn't I? I was a little naughty. I was a wee bit on the naughty side. No, I actually was. Next question. Yes, sir.
What did you think of Children's Paradise?
Say again.
What did you think of Children's Paradise? The film.
L'Enfant de Paradis.
That's right.
It's long. Really long. It's a pretty fascinating story. It was because it was filmed in France during the German occupation, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. Barreau is, I mean, he really is. He's everything that my father says about him. He's heartbreaking. I mean, you know, the passion in his performance, yet and the ability to make you laugh and then instantly break your heart and have, you know, that's what I try to do in this show that I'm doing right now. Is do what my father did in the apartment, make you laugh and cry all at the same time. Because that's what he felt great art was about. And so when I constructed this story, that's what I tried very hard to do, not only with the story and the words, but also with ultimately the performance. And I think I got there. From what I'm getting from people who have seen it, that's what it's about. Even though they blew the cue at the end last night, which is the biggie. The biggie. No, they were great. They did a great job taking that show. They really did. They were fabulous. But it really is what it is. I mean, it's the ending of the show is my father. You go through the entire story of my father's life, and at the very end, he's been told he's going to die, and his final words are to me, his son. I do the whole show as my father. I don't do it as myself. So it's my father talking to me and telling the audience about his experience with me and our lives together throughout the entire 90 minutes. And at the very end, you know, he says to me, you know, it's my time to go. And the best thing I can say to you is, you're an actor. Never do anything halfway. Always give them the laughter and then break their hearts. And keep playing piano too, because it's going to bring you such great personal enjoyment. But most importantly, you're a father. Be there for your children, because they need you. And for those times when I wasn't there for you, I'm sorry. But those times that we did spend together, those were magic time. And that's basically the final words that he said to me. And those are the final words that I say to to the people who come to see the show and kind of what it's all about. But to answer your question in a perfectly lemon form there, we do a half hour on Hello Us Lemons. Yeah, it's all about that heart wrenching and at the same time as you're laughing, you're crying, and I think that's what I got out of Barrow's performance. Even if you look at him in his mime outfit, his mime makeup and costume, it makes you laugh, but there's such great tragedy underneath it. And wow, that's the hardest thing to achieve. And it's what you really, it's a wonderful thing to shoot for in any form of art. I mean, it all transcends. It's not just acting. It's not just music. It's all art. It's all about making somebody feel something, isn't it? I mean, no matter what you do artistically. Or in life. And so there we go. Did that answer your question in any way, shape, or form? I hope. Keep going. Hit me with another one. Yes, dear. That far I can see.
In addition to writing your own stuff, do you write for other people as well? Have you written other things for other people?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of documentary, and as a matter of fact, thank you for asking that. I just finished a documentary that I'm really very proud of called Day by Day for a client named Christine Frisbee, and ultimately the Yale School of Nursing. My wife serves on the external advisory board for the Yale School of Nursing, and she met Christine through that, and it went on to win the feature-length documentary at the Manhattan Film Festival. So yeah, yeah, thank you. It was a wonderful undertaking. It was a story about terminally ill children and how families deal with their illness, how they deal with their illness, but most importantly, how the illness impacts their siblings. Everything from the sibling, having to cope with the fact that they're going to lose, their brother or sister, but also the fact where the amount of attention that sibling gets so impacts the brother or sister that they start to say, geez, I wonder what I would get if I get sick. And everything in between, how you cope with the anger that turns into understanding and eventually to wanting to heal others. It was a wonderful and very rewarding experience for me. But we've done a few documentaries in the last 4 or 5 years, so thanks for asking that question. It's a project I was very proud of. Yes, sir?
I think a lot of people would really love to see if you're prepared to do a little of an excerpt from your performance or some,
It's a kind of a tough piece to pull a section out of, only because it's a very linear story, and each story falls into the next. But maybe I could. I should have brought my damn head mic up here. I don't know if I can do it holding a mic. Let's see.
Jeff, come down here. Just be with us.
Well, I was thinking about doing the section with the music, with Cagney and all those guys. Yeah.
Let's do the blue mic so we can hear you.
Okay. Let me just think where the heck I'm going to start. Give me 2 seconds here. So I'm in. Okay, where do I go right before that? Yeah. My father has just been told, my father has just done his first big performance in a film called Mr. Roberts. And he's, because of Mr. Roberts, he's won the Academy Award. And he gets so excited as he accepts the Academy Award that he actually forgets his wife, my mother, in her seat. Which is, yes, it's funny, but then all of a sudden you realize it's very serious. The guy got so carried away, and there was so much stuff going on that understandably he just forgot her, but also, how the hell could he forget her? He just, and if I can become my father for a second, he just left sitting in her seat. She waited for me as long as she could. But then when she couldn't wait any longer, she just quietly got up, walked out the door, and took a taxi home, alone. And that's when I knew, not only wasn't I much of a husband, I wasn't even much of a father. And I did everything I could. I tried everything I could to save the marriage, but there was no saving it. The bond, it was broken. So I moved into this little bachelor pad up in the hills, and Cindy in the hot shot, he called me Hot Shot. My name is Hot Shot, that's what he called me. Cindy in the hot shot, they moved into this crazy old house on Santa Monica Beach. Harold Lloyd, the great movie star, hanging from the hands of the clock. You remember him? Oh, yes. He was a friend of the Stone family. Gave it to him for pretty much nothing. And I'd go over there just about every day. See my little hot shot, huh? And Cindy. And I'd do what I love to do the most. I'd sit down at the piano. I'd pull the mic cord as far as I possibly could. I'd readjust the microphone stands. I'd position the microphone properly, right in front of me. And then I'd wonder how the hell I'm going to play with the mic cord right there. And I'd just play. I do it much better than this, by the way, on stage. And I taught the hot shot how to play too. Yeah. Hey kid, come here. I want to show you something. Come here. Sit down on the bench next to me. There we go. Huh? Okay, look. I'm going to take your little finger. I'm going to put it on the keys. And I'm going to teach you a little bit of music. There we go. That's it. Yeah, very good. Good. Now let's try and find a melody, okay? Yeah. Here's a good place to start. As good as any. Always a good second note. I like it. Yeah, kid. Yeah. You see, this melody, it should put a smile on your face, but it should put a tear in your eye, too. This is what makes it great. When you can make them laugh and cry, all at the same time. Let me show you the notes. Good kid. Now let's give him some tears. You gotta learn to play. I always wanted to be a pianist, a composer. Stick with it, kid. It'll make you the happiest guy on the face of the earth. And then when the kid was old enough, maybe 5, 6, something like that, I'd take him up to my newly appointed bachelor pad up in the hills, and oh gosh, we just have a ball. And at night, I'd tuck him into a little bed that I made up for him on, and I'd give him a kiss. Mwah. And I'd sing him a little lullaby. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something with me? And then I'd shut off the light, close the door, call up a few friends, and get the party started. Hey, baby. Don't mean it, baby. Well, how's about cooking something up with me? Gregory Peck, Jimmy Cagney, Hank Fonda, these are the characters I'd have come over, and you want to talk about a good time? Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? Well, how's about cooking something up with me? Oh, but look, here comes Jimmy Cagney strutting into my living room with my kid. Jimmy, what the? Well, Jackie boy, I was on my way to see this man about a dog, see? And who do I see sticking his head around the corner of his dog? Why, this little lemon here. Take a look, everybody. This here's the little lemon. Jackie Lemmon's boy. A good looker, too. Must take after his mother. Hey, Jackie? Say, kid, how'd you like us Hollywood old-timers to give you your own private concert, see? Why, look, over there. It's the great Gregory Peck. Hey, Pecker! Come on over here, sing a few bars with a little lemon. Hello, good looking. What have you got cooking? How's about cooking looking up for? Oh dear. Jack, perhaps you'd best bring us home. Well, I've got something in the kitchen tonight. We're gonna steam up a little light. Come on, baby, turn down the lights. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with a me? Time for 2 more questions. Was that any good? Did you guys relate to that at all? That was a trip. Huh? What? The senior ring, huh? You ask Russ about that afterwards. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Man. Dear.
If you could give one word of advice to every student here that they won't forget, that they could take with them, what would you give them?
I think I already have, so I will repeat myself at the risk of being redundant. Just absolutely grab every single moment by the toenails, guys. This is it. This is one of the greatest times of your life. Experience everything. Rip it apart. Grab it by your teeth. Shred it apart. And love everything you're doing. Do everything you can do the best you can possibly do it. And make a wonderful platform in this incredible place, because you're never going to be here again. This is it. I mean, take complete advantage of this incredibly magical place that you're in right now. Next, most important, take advantage of these incredibly magical people that you're around and that you're with, because these are the people that will become your best buddies for the rest of your life. Here we are, 44 years later, and we're doing this. And it's wonderful. It's like I was here just yesterday. So live life to every moment of your life to the fullest. Experience it completely and totally. Immerse yourself in it and love those buddies that you're around, because they're going to be your buddies for life, and they're going to be you'll grow together. You'll become workmates. Okay, that's enough. I've said it. I'm being 11. Yes, dear.
Yesterday we saw your performance at the Stone Film Festival.
I was a lot better then, wasn't I? I'm just kidding.
I was wondering how you created the show.
Okay, that's a really great question to end with, I guess. And it's okay. This is I'm going to go on. Yeah, I'm going to be longer than I'm supposed to. You guys all get to miss class. See, that's what happens when old alumni come back to the school. You get to do cool things like miss class. The I adored my father, and there's in any parent-child relationship, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be a lot of rocky moments, and as you saw in the show, I expose a great deal of that. I've come to terms with that. That being said, I adored him. There were problems in my father-child relationship, but he was a good father. He was my best friend. And when he left me at a tragically early age, I experienced a great deal of loneliness. And in order to cope with that loneliness, I started writing down the memories. Quick segue, that's another answer to your question. Hold on to those memories, because brother, that's the only thing you can take with you when they put you in a pine box. It's the most important thing in life. Hold on to the memories that you're going to make here. So I started writing those memories down. As I wrote them down, more occurred to me and more occurred to me. And the next thing I knew, I was telling a story about a father and a son. And also felt obligated to share that, not just with my kids, who didn't get a chance to know him very well, but with the rest of the world, because that was a side of Jack Lemmon that they didn't know and that I did. That turned into a book. And I was fortunate enough to get published by a very good publishing company that turned into a book tour. And during that book tour, I would talk to people about this very thing, and people seemed to be very moved by that message and would tell me their stories. And I thought, boy, I think there's a next level that I can take this to. And I wrote a performance piece, one-man performance piece out of the book. It was very well received. It grew, it changed. These things are almost like they have a life of their own, and and they continue to evolve. And then I thought I could take that even further. I think this can be a piece of stage. I hooked up with a very, very talented fella named Hershey Felder, who helped me to write this script, and that turned into what you saw last night. So basically, two things about it. It was a search for catharsis that turned into a continuing catharsis. I mean, I still miss my father every moment. Another piece of advice I can give: go to those people you love and hug them every single day, because you don't know what you got until it's gone. And every night for 90 minutes, I get to be back with my father on stage, and it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. But personally, as an artist, it was also very interesting because when you're your age, you wonder, what am I doing? What am I going to be? As I said earlier, and I always wanted to be a pianist, and I also was, it was just in my genes to become an actor. So I kind of did both, and the piano fell by the wayside, and the acting started to happen, and I had a decent career as an actor. But here I am, at my age, at my old fart age, and finally, at this age, I'm able to bring both of those things together, acting and music, and join them together in this piece that, honestly, though I've been fortunate and I've worked a lot, I've never really had anything that I can point at and say, I did that. If tomorrow's my day to go, I did that. And finally, I've done this. And I can say, I did that. So thank you for that question, and there's my half-hour-long answer. I'm going to let you guys go so you can actually enjoy the class that you can cut right now. You've got a half hour to go farther. No, just kidding. You guys are great, man. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much.